Now you've got some money to invest, but every decision feels like a gamble. That sound familiar? Well, most new investors, they don't struggle with strategy. They struggle with second guessing. And this video here will help you stop doubting yourself and start making confident, informed choices with your money. Because real confidence doesn't come from luck. It comes from knowing what you're doing. And what if I told you that the biggest risk isn't making a bad move, it's actually sitting out altogether? Well, let me explain what I mean here in a minute. Now, we all know how easy it is to second guess every decision when there's money on the line. That's why confidence is so important. It helps you tune out the noise and stick to your investing plan, even when the markets get wild. Now, research shows that when people lack confidence in their ability to invest, they tend to be overly cautious, sometimes sitting on the sidelines and missing out on huge long-term growth opportunities. Now, on the flip side, too much confidence can make you reckless, leading to more frequent trading and risking bigger losses. But a healthy amount of confidence helps you really stay calm and make smarter choices. But how do you actually get that confidence? Well, the secret is building up your investing knowledge. If the stock market feels confusing right now, don't worry, that's totally normal.
Completely normal phenomenon.
The more you learn about the basics, the less intimidating it becomes. So let's discuss growing your knowledge and how you can do it. Now, jumping into something new like investing can feel like stepping into a maze blindfolded, right? It's hard and there is real money on the line. But here's the good news. The more you learn, the less intimidating it gets.
Think of learning to invest like learning a new language. At first, it's foreign. But over time, it starts making sense.
Absolutely, Tiara, and I'm a testament to this myself. So many years ago, I worked in corporate as a marketing manager, and I had a 401k with little else invested. But after I left that job and started and sold a company of my own, I was forced to learn how to not just keep that money, but how to grow it. The point being is that it really is possible to be self-taught, as there are so many great resources out there. Like this channel, of course, which you should subscribe to if you're still working on becoming a better investor, because I'd love to help you do it. Anyway, the first thing to do when trying to build your knowledge is to focus on mastering the basics, like what stocks and index funds are, or how risk and reward work. So for example, if you understand that a diversified index fund spreads your money across hundreds of companies, suddenly the fear of putting it all your eggs in one basket, that fades away. A study from FINRA found that investors who know more about financial concepts, they feel much more secure and are less likely to panic when the market inevitably drops. So each time that you learn a new term or strategy, you're really giving yourself one more tool to beat uncertainty, which is crucial. Simple knowledge is powerful, right? It's like the headlights that help you see the road ahead. And learning the basics really gives you control, but real confidence comes from having a plan. So let's look at how building a game plan keeps you steady no matter what the market does in the future. Most new investors, they make the mistake of kind of winging it, right? Just picking stocks that they've heard about or following what's hot online. But here's the reality. Having a real game plan is what separates confident investors from the nervous ones. So when you set clear goals, like, I want to save $50,000 for a down payment in 5 years, or I'm building a retirement fund, you suddenly have direction. Your investing strategy, whether it's dollar cost averaging into index funds or setting rules for when you'll buy or sell, it helps you stay focused even when the market's unpredictable. And sometimes it will be. So take the time to plan your path before starting. So now that your foundation is set, right, let's talk about what to do when those curveballs come and emotions really start to kick in. Now, even the most logical people can be hit by waves of panic or excitement when the market swings up or down. Now, most investors at some point feel tempted to make big moves based on fear or hype. And here's where emotional discipline comes into play. So the two emotions that really drive investing mistakes most often are fear and greed. So let's say that you've got money in the market, right? And suddenly stocks are just crashing. Your gut might scream, "Get out!" But history shows that those who stay invested and stick to their game plan tend to recover and even profit once the storm passes. So for example, an analysis by JP Morgan found that in the past 20 years, 6 of the 7 best days for the S&P 500 took place just after the 10 worst days. Now, the real skill is learning to pause, check your strategy, and not let news headlines push you around. People who can keep their cool when things get wild are the ones who really set themselves up for the best long-term results. All right, so are you ready to see what happens when you make the inevitable mistakes? Well, let's talk about it. So here's the truth. No one, not even the pros, get every investing move right. You're gonna hit bumps in the road, right? Maybe you'll pick a stock that tanks, or you'll sell too early when you probably should have just held on. It's all part of the process. The key isn't to avoid mistakes, that's impossible, but to use them as fuel to get better. So think of each setback as a lesson, not a defeat, right? So for example, if you lost money panic selling during a market drop, use that experience to remind yourself to pause next time and stick to your plan. Studies show that investors who review and learn from their past decisions make them more confident and they make better choices in the future. The reality is every misstep is actually a step closer to becoming a smarter, more confident investor. Now that you understand how confidence is built through experience and learning, it's time to really look at another powerful influence on smart investing, which, believe it or not, is the news. Curious why that is? Well, this video right here will explain how top investors use headlines to not panic, but to strategically shape their next investments. So I'll see you over there.